One behaviour you wish every business leader adopted from elite sport.
Uh, Intensity, the intensity of a working week. And I just look at how we drive our intensity from Monday. I talked about it earlier. If Monday's not nailed, Tuesday won't work. And it's all just this knock-on effect to Saturday and the performance, and then you go again. But that intensity that we're able to work at, and it's pressure, but we have that sort of, I guess, a shortened period, which is a season. It's not a 12-month period, but I think that intensity of work is something that we do pretty well in professional sport that I think could transfer across.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm sorry these are not very fun questions, but Ben,
No, they're great.
Ben, I wrote
Making
them.
me think.
No, but I was actually going to say about like intensity. How do you think you could bring that into the business?
I think it's objectifying and making sure that if you set the day up right, and I've been in offices in the past where you sort of get in the morning and everyone's having a coffee and have a talk about the week. There's lots of social sort of stuff going on, whereas actually there are things that you can get on with around maximising the period of time that you're at work. I genuinely think you can get more out of the day rather than being present. I think there's more to it, and making sure that you've connected with all the people that you need to work with so that ideas are growing. And I think if you can drive yourself to be motivated each day to get the most out of every day rather than just exist and be present, I think you can change a lot in a very short space of time.
I also think you touched upon it earlier when you mentioned theming. I think businesses could really take a lot out of that.
Yeah.
Getting 100%. People on the journey and
a metaphor, telling a story. It's always exciting, and I think this is one thing when you go into companies from professional sport is you're actually telling stories about what you do, and you see how people are really interested and excited about something different. But actually, imagine if you did that every day and told a story about Steve Redgrave or someone like that and the journey he went through to win all the golds and the pain and the heartache and the sacrifice and all that stuff, and said, right, this week we're going to go through Steve's medals from the pair that he first won right the way through to the final one, which we probably all watched and just were like, just win it, come on. If you told that story through a week, you'd probably, did he get 5 golds? Maybe there's 5 days. Yeah. Maybe you got 5 or 6. Tell the story around that. I think I've found that when you go into those environments and you're just talking about what you do, people are genuinely quite energized to hear about it. So I think you could make that something different every day.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Going slightly off topic there, but Sir Steve Redgrave, when Sir Clive Woodward was coaching London Irish, he brought him down and did exactly that. And I'd never heard of the guy. I'd never watched rowing, never had any interest rowing. But what an incredible story! And I wasn't alone in the room there. Probably everybody had the same feeling. Just we got caught up with it, and it's like, hey, don't want to play rugby anymore. I want to row. Luckily that feeling dissipated pretty quick because I'd be an awful rower. But it was so
genetics weren't there, Fitzy, for rowing.
No, exactly. Yeah, no, I'm built for comfort, not endurance. But it was so incredible. So and it had his box of gold medals. I think he'd won 3 at that point, 3 consecutive ones, and went on to win another couple. But incredible man.
But I think there's also the business stories, like entrepreneurial stories of people who started companies up and away they went. And, I guess Branson's got some wonderful stories around, when he started Virgin Airways, if they got bumped off the flight, so he bought the plane and sold tickets and said, now I've chartered the plane, we're off. There it is. Those are great stories.
Yeah.
And I think that sport, business, academic stories, there's plenty of things to inspire people to make them maybe. And I think the thing about the theming for me is that if 80 to 90% of your week is relatively repetitive around the tasks you have to sort of consistently do so that you can achieve something at the end, if you can make the group think 80% of the week about the theme whilst they're doing this, it sort of keeps it fresh. It takes their mind off that part and they're talking about something different.